Sambanan Dumalang, hello, it is Simply Swiss and welcome back to my YouTube channel, but also special welcome to you if you're joining me for the very first time. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we will be unpacking the latest episodes 4 to 6 at the time of recording this, of the Netflix reality series The Boyfriend. So if you haven't yet, I would recommend you guys check out the video I made before this, which is basically on episodes 1 to 3. I talk about my thoughts on the cast, because this is basically a continuation of that video. But in case you don't know what The Boyfriend is, it's basically the same-sex Japanese reality show on Netflix, following 9 men as they live in this house called the Green Room, where they basically fall in love, form friendships, and of course there is some drama. And these episodes today, oh child, the mess. Mess TV. But before we dive into it, please do like, share, subscribe, and don't forget at the end to leave a comment letting me know what are your thoughts. So without further ado, let's just dive in, because there is so much to unpack. First of all, before we get into what happened in this episode, I want to give Alan an apology. Alan, sweetie, I'm so sorry. I never said anything bad about you. Like, if you watched my last video, you know I might have went a little too hard on him, but I did say, that like my thoughts on Alan are probably subject to change, because at the time we didn't really know much about him, but like he has grown on me. So recapping, so the first 3 episodes, I feel like they felt kind of like we were watching the Dai and Shun show. Like that was really like the main attraction, the main focus, even though we were getting bits and pieces, glimpses into the other cast members. And then so we're at episode 3, which ended on a cliffhanger, and I thought that episode 4 would just continue on from that, but it doesn't. We kind of move on to other people before circling back to find out what exactly happened between Dai and Shun on their date. What did Shun see that he didn't particularly like? So, following the release of the second batch of episodes of The Boyfriend, Kazuto was revealed to be the most popular member of the Green Room, with many suitors including Alan, Usagi, and Taehyun seemingly showing interest into him. Also, during this batch of episodes, we finally got to meet Ikkyo, the new member, and he seems to be, he's gonna create some tension between Dai and Shun, whether he likes it or not, or whether he knows. I think at this stage he's unaware of it. But I think what was also interesting was now they were being willing, like they were given the chance to actually express who they were willing to work with. Which, previously it was like, the team they would just choose. Now it's like, okay, this is the team leader. If you like to work with them, raise your hands. I think that also creates a little bit of interesting tension, a little bit of drama. Cause it's like, the person you wanted to lift their hand didn't lift their hands. It's like, what does that mean? Does that mean you don't like me? What does all this mean? But girl, I am getting ahead of myself. Let us get into the episode by episode breakdown for this episode, starting with episode 4. So episode 4, Usopp got to be the team leader, and he expressed that he wanted to pick Kazuto, but unfortunately Kazuto wasn't there. So far Usopp and Kazuto they've been missing each other because of their work. I will say something interesting about The Boyfriend is that, with other reality shows, like usually like the cast are like on set the whole time, they're like cut off from the outside world. I think it's quite interesting that the cast members go in and out of the show, and still, because of their other commitments, whether it's work, whether it's family, whatever the case might be, I think that also does sort of make it a little bit more ground. Like you get a sense of what it will actually be like dating this person in the real world, because you get to see, okay, they'll be away for work because of this and that. Yeah. So also in this episode, I think what I really liked is that we finally get to really see inside Usopp. Like Usopp really opens up about his insecurities, his vulnerabilities, and we see that there's a contrast between the confident go-go dancer and his personality in real life. He's a lot more shy, a lot more reserved. Like I even just like, he is such a cutie patootie. Like he is so cute, despite being like really buff. And like he is so cute. And so Kazuto returns to the Green Room, and then Alan, because the first time Alan seen Kazuto, he's like blown away. He's like, oh my gosh. He was like, I like you. And I'll be honest, right? Because at this point, I was still like an Alan anti. So my first thought was like, get away from him, get a job, leave him alone. Why don't my Kazuto? But then we see, that Alan's actually really thoughtful, and Alan is actually really considerate, especially when the budget and the chicken issue comes up again. So it seems that Usopp has been going over the allocated amount for his chicken, And he does seem like really regretful. He does, like, he feels really bad. And Alan is the one who suggests, like, hey, okay, listen, clearly this is very important to you, right, and your work. How about we make up, like, the money from our sales, we'll use that to cover your chicken. And that's when I was like, wait, Alan, maybe I misjudged you. Maybe I misjudged you. Maybe I misjudged you. Because even Alan and Usak, they do also have like a heart-to-heart moment. And Alan seems to be like a really great listener and also offers some really encouraging words to Usak. So when it's Kazuto's turn to pick someone to be, his working partner, he picks Shun. And it's at this point where Shun starts opening up about that, he's not too sure about Dai. And Kazuto also reveals that he's actually interested in someone. And I think this is where I start getting a little bit annoyed with Shun, right? Because yes, right, he's saying Kazuto, he feels like him and Dai, the energies don't match. He feels like Dai is too hyperactive, energetic, and exhausted. And you know what? I feel you. And that if you watch the previous video, I did say Shun reminds me of myself. Because I also, I can imagine being with someone who's like on 100 the whole time would be exhausting to me. Where Shun loses me, where I'm like, like I can't, is why doesn't he just tell this to Dai? Like he's ghosting Dai in person. And that's why I said like shouldn't, because I've done this to people, but like it was over the phone. Like I don't think I could be that cold to someone IRL. At least I don't think so. Maybe I have been, like, because literally watching Shun, I feel like I'm watching, it's like, is this fucking play about us? But like I like things I can understand where Shun's coming from, but I don't like how he's going about it. Like there's like he could be going about the situation so much better, because now Dai is confused as hell. And I can't blame him. Anyways, so Kazuto and Shun come back from work, and then Kazuto takes Alan saying, I want to talk to you. And Alan's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And then, Kazuto and Alan sort of, they basically say, we've got some mutual feelings. I feel something, there's a bit of a spark. Okay. And then Alan even expressed, like, Alan is now he's very loud and he's very upfront about, Kazuto is the one that I like. And so when Usak sees this, he gets the courage also to be like, you know what, Kazuto, it's always been you. It's always been you from the very first day. It's always been you. You're my type. And it was really sweet to just see, almost you get to see, like, they like contrasting, like Alan and Usak, they got very different personalities, and so the way they express emotion is quite different. But it doesn't end there, because Ryota's like, hold on. When he sees Alan expressing his feelings for Kazuto, he's like, I don't want Alan to date Kazuto. No, I want to date Kazuto. So Ryota as well. So at this point, I'm like, part of me is like, probably thinking like, yeah, Kazuto must feel like, oh, I am that girl. Look, all these menses want me. But at the same time, I can also imagine how it can be overwhelming. Because it's like, okay, at this point, it's like, okay, 3 guys have expressed interest in me. There's one who I'm sort of kind of liking, but then it's also like, I also think, even I was like, at this point, I'm thinking like Kazuto and Usak, like, I see the vision. So I can imagine Kazuto at this point is probably feeling like, okay, it's a lot of feelings. Like, I can only imagine, because at this point, someone is going to be heartbroken at the end of the day. That's the unfortunate thing about being in a situation like this. As much as it can be a bit of an ego boost, that's cool, right? You got multiple people approaching you. Rejecting people is not nice. It's not easy. And maybe that's why I think also maybe Shun might be just trying to blow off Dai, because he's probably just avoiding having that difficult conversation to be like, yo, look, it's not working for me. But yeah, so that was episode 4. In episode 5 of The Boyfriend, the members are asked to pick someone to go on a date, and Kazuto and Alan are the only match. To no one's surprise, but what is surprising is, why didn't Shun pick Dai? Like, so at this point as the audience, we already, like, we kind of saw this coming, but Dai is probably like, he's completely blindsided, and he's like, okay, what is going on? Like, so Dai's like, Shun, we need to talk. And then Shun finally, expresses like, okay, look, I think maybe it would be better if we're just friends. And Dai respectfully backs down. And this is where I think Dai also is someone, I know I say he's got some beige flags, and it's like, you know what? that's not that bad, because I think the way he handled that was really graceful. Like, not many people would have been able to take that so well. Other people would have maybe been like trying to keep up, but Dai respects Shun's boundaries. Like, okay, cool, we can be friends, and he moves on just like that. Meanwhile, Kazuto and Alan, they're on their stay over date, and they have moments of, vulnerability. And this is where I think also my views on Alan also start to shift a bit more, because I start to say, okay, this is someone who had a really tough upbringing. This is someone who, also, it's like that thing, like, you never really know what someone's been through. And it could be also that, his bright and bubbly personality, or like, it's almost like a response to that in a way, like, sometimes people who are really bright, really energetic and happy are people who've actually been through some of like the darkest things that you never know about, so that's where also I started also understand a little more about Alan, and also just appreciate him, be like, you know what, you're not as bad as I thought you might be. But on the other hand, Alan is very forward. He is very forward. And it seems like he is pushing the intimacy at a pace that is a bit faster than Kazuto might be comfortable with. But I will admit, it was hot. It was hot. It was hot. Like when they were in the bathtub and the massages, I was watching like, ooh. But it leaves Kazuto with mixed feelings at the end of the date. So then the next day, right, they return, and then Asuka got a chance to do the coffee truck business, and he's like, I'm picking Kazuto, because at this point he's like, I need to do one big thing, like I need to just do something, right? So Kazuto and Usaka, they sat by the beach, have a conversation, and they seem really like, I'm watching them like these two are perfect for each other. And even the host was saying, like, it seems like the way Usaka is moving seems to be at a pace that Kazuto is comfortable with. But then the bombshell of all bombshells, Usaka reveals that he is leaving, and oh, my heart. Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because what? It seemed like finally Usaka was making progress. It seemed like finally he was coming out of his shell. He was finally, really being expressing. I mean, even his conversation with Alan, right? Alan was saying, you seem like someone who really cares how people perceive you and all of that. And it seemed like he was finally truly being himself. He is opening up to Kazuto about his feelings. And even the way he did it, it was just, I really liked it. It was so respectful. It was so like, listen, this is how I feel about you, but you don't have to, I'm not forcing you to give an answer right now. And I appreciate this time and everything. And it's not that deep, but it is for me, because wow, like Usaka and Kazuto, we could have had it all. So they come back from work, and then like people are like, Kazuto, what's wrong? You look tense. And then they see Usaka pulling up with bags. Like, hold on, is this a joke? Like, honestly, that was probably the most emotional. Like, everyone was just so emotional. Like, because I think no one saw this coming. But I think Usaka left, with no regrets. Like he gave it his all. And honestly, I'll be real, this episode broke me. Even now, I'm getting a little emotional, child. But that brings us on to episode 6. So seeing how Usaka, left with no regrets and just fully expressed himself, that gave Gensei the courage to be like, you know what? I'm going to pursue Ryota. Now, I remember initially, let me move this. Initially, right, Gensei thought Ryota liked him, but it turned out to be a misunderstanding. But then along the way, Gensei realized, you know what, actually, I like Ryota. And so now Gensei's like, he's going to actually try to actively pursue Ryota. So he's like, you know what, guys, I want to be team leader. I want to work with Ryota. And he buys Ryota like a necklace thing. And, he's feeling like, you know what, I've expressed how I feel. Like, I think Ryota's an idea. Meanwhile, Ryota's like, I don't know what this means. I think maybe could have been, even the fact that he was like, after giving the necklace, like, oh, can I ask you a favor? Can I get to do your makeup? Maybe that confused her. I think if you just gave him the necklace and it's like, yeah, I really like you. But, I think from the outside, it's like, I can see both perspectives. How Gensei feels like, what, I've expressed how I feel. And Hota's like, was this just a gift from a friend? Or what does it mean? What does it mean? So God is confused. What does this mean? And he also, at this point, he tells Gensei that, he has confessed to his crush. So at this point, like, Gensei becomes well aware, okay, Ryota likes someone else, right? Like, he's very aware that Ryota likes someone else. Now we go back to Shun and Dai. So now Shun and Dai, girl, where do I even begin? As we remember, right, Shun had said he just wants to be friends, but now he's giving all these mixed feelings. And at this point, I feel so bad for Dai. Like, you can tell he is frustrated, because Shun will be like, come here, let me lay on your lap, but don't touch me. Like, he set the boundaries, but now his boundaries are like, he's blurring the lines. Like, it's giving mixed signals. Like, I literally wrote here in my notes, play Hot and Cold by Katy Perry, because literally, one minute he's hot, next thing he's cold, he's yes, then he's no, he's in, then it's out, up, then down. Like, we don't know what's going on. It is confusing, right? Then episode 6, we have Taehyun, who picks Kazuto for that day shift of running Beautiful You. At this point, I'm not really even sure or convinced who does Taehyun like, right? Does he like Kazuto, or do he pick Kazuto just as a friend? Like, for me, I feel like Taehyun so far is the only cast member it's kind of like a question mark for me. Like, who does he actually like, or even who do I see him being compatible with at this point? But we shall see. So it's at this point where we're finally introduced to Ikkyo, the new member of the Green Room. Now, his arrival now at this point, right? And so I'm like, if you remember the previous, I talked about how, being that person arrives later, it's like a double-edged sword, because when you walk in, your presence can be the source of drama, or you can just end up just being someone who gets like cast aside because everyone has already made their bonds. But Ikkyo quickly, it seems, forms a bond with Dai, and this starts causing some tension, because Shun is saying he's not jealous, but boy, if I know jealousy, like tell me, is this the face of someone who's unbothered? Like, he looks so bothered, and I think he's also got his own insecurities that he's trying to work with, because he's like, at some point he's like, what, maybe Ikkyo would be a better fit for Dai than me. I do also think there's an element of self-sabotaging that Shun is doing right now, and it's a lot for me. It's a lot. At this point, I'm like Shun, you need to decide what do you want and go for it. Like, if you want Dai, go for it before it's too late, because these games that you're playing now with Ikkyo on the scene, I see danger. So at this point, Kazuto and Alan have a conversation. Kazuto finally says, you know what, while I did like you before we went on our date, I do think we will be better off as friends. And you know what, Alan accepts his feelings and like, you know what, thank you for being sincere. And that is pretty much, a summary of episodes 4 to 6. This was honestly such a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, I just have so many questions, like, who will Kazuto finally choose? Will Ryota realize Gensei's feelings? And how will Ryota respond to those feelings? I'm hoping, this is my hopes, right? I'm hoping that Kazuto and Usak will get together somehow, right? I'm hoping that even though Usak has left early, I see the vision. Tell me you see the vision, because I see the vision. Gensei, I am rooting for you. I don't know if Ryota is gonna come around to liking it. Also, Shun and Dai, like, I foresee danger there, because I'm thinking back to like the montage when Ikkyo was introduced. Clearly, like, he seems intense, so this is gonna be very interesting. We'll just have to stay tuned until next week when we get the next episodes 7 and 8. So yeah, that will bring us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point, please do give this video a thumbs up. Also, let me know on your thoughts down below. Like, what do you think of the cast so far? What are your predictions? Who will end up together? Who are you rooting for? Like, as I said, I'm rooting for Kazuto and Usak, and I'm rooting for Shun and Dai. I'm also rooting for Taehyun as an individual, but at this point I'm not sure who Taehyun is like interested in, but we'll see. We're like halfway, it's literally the halfway point at this point. Anything can still happen, people can break up, new bonds can form, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. So thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, I love you guys so much. Bye.